Immersive sims are not dead. At least not if indie games have anything to say about it. What is an immersive sim? Well, that's an argument older than the internet. But for me, it's all about player agency. IMSIMS give players a big old box of tools, an environment filled with interactive systems, and a goal that can be reached in many ways, and then lets them loose to conquer the game's challenges in any way that they can. Usually there's a lot of box stacking, code cracking, vent crawling, and body hauling along the way. AAA studios have all but given up on making these kinds of games. They're notoriously difficult to develop and less profitable than the usual live service loot treadmills. But once again, small studios and indie devs have come to the rescue.
If I could kiss you on that shiny helmet of yours, I would.
What?
We've got plenty of upcoming IMSIMS right around the corner, as well as some you might have missed. If you want to support our never-ending quest to discover the greatest and strangest immersive indies, we'll tell you how to join our band of champions near the end of the video. We'll also tell you how we're helping to build an exciting new way to find more hidden gems just like these. But for now, let's find out how small developers are still saving immersive sims. My name is Boss Sauce.
And I'm Roland Coons. And together, we are the Two-Headed Hero.
2023 saw the release of Brush Burial, a tightly crafted stealth action game featuring a deadly bog demon named Fennel and a huge interactive toolkit that ranged from fire starters to flintlocks. This year we get the follow-up, Gutter World, which tells the tale of Fennel's journey across a post-apocalyptic wasteland. The sequel takes on a mission-based approach, allowing you to talk to NPCs and find out more about the world of gutters, while also opening some new possibilities up to complete mini-quests that get you closer to the target. When all that fails, well, you can always just leave a big trail of bodies in your wake. The whip-tail grapples and wall crawling return from the first game, but combat has been tightened up. There's more of an emphasis on catching enemies off balance and hitting them with a variety of finishing moves, which come complete with new third-person animations. When your sick takedowns fail to do the job, there's still a massive number of weapons and items to fall back on that can save your tail in a fight. Fennel can go into focus mode at any time, which slows down the action while highlighting the heartbeats and important items in the area. This toolkit might seem simple, but it allows the player to pull off some crazy airborne tactics and chain takedowns together, at least until you take a hit and get knocked out of focus. At the end of a mission, you'll be graded on time, technique, precision, and mercy, so this is definitely going to be one for the speedrunners. And if you want to play dress up with your cryptid, there's even a big bunch of unlockable cosmetics. I also really loved how the health and focus meters are represented by the little bug-eyed face down at the bottom of the screen. Knife Demon Software plans to release Gutterworld in just a couple short weeks, so if you're a fan of crunchy graphics and challenging stealth games, this is a sure pick. I've said it before, but immersive sims don't always have to be first-person games. For small teams, it's often better to give up the pursuit of fancy graphics and focus their energies on making the world as interactive as possible. Developer Metsis Games recently reached out to send some exclusive footage my way, so I was lucky enough to get eyes on an early build of this promising pixel playground. Glowing Lamps channels a pixel-cute version of 1990s Russia and centers around a blocky metropolis known only as City N, a maze of Soviet panel buildings that's overrun by groups of rival gangs. As a middle-aged, mustache-wielding engineer named Anton, it's your job to survive using stealth, fast-talking, detective work, silly gadgets, and good old-fashioned street brawling. But this is much more than a gangster-flavored beat-em-up. Peek into keyholes to plan your approach. Handcuff a cop and lock them in the break room to keep them out of the way. Zip down power lines using a piece of exercise equipment, or take a break from the mean streets and throw down at the backgammon table instead. Characters frequently drop clues and pass out side quests to ease your way, and it's really nice to see so many other ways to get around a challenge rather than just throwing a punch. Pitting gangsters against each other or simply bribing your way through the door can be just as satisfying as going full Sam Fisher and taking down a group of thugs with a neck-breaking spree. From what I've seen so far, Glowing Lamps looks like an old point-and-click adventure, handles like a puzzle platformer, and holds enough possibilities to bring a smile to the lips of hardcore IMSIM fans. If you don't mind the retro graphics and occasional platform hopping, it's definitely worth waiting to see how this one develops. Imagine you're stuck in an isolated town with a single train as your only route of escape. Now imagine that a Godzilla-sized cop with the temperament of a toddler has placed you under arrest for no apparent reason, and the conditions of your parole include keeping him from throwing tantrums or getting too depressed. That's Militsioner, the upcoming immersive stealth game from developer TALLBOYS. I got some hands-on time with this during a recent playtest, and it's like nothing I've seen before. Every step you take, every brick you throw, every building you sneak into is being monitored by the massive megababy in uniform from high up above, and he's keeping a tally whenever he sees you break the law. There's a beautiful, highly detailed town to explore, and plenty of out-of-the-way places to break into, but you better be quick about it. The city slowly floods as you wander around until eventually you slip down beneath the surface. Must have skipped the swim unit in grade school. Hey, maybe that was your crime. But don't worry if you drown in the murky depths. With each failure, the colossal cop picks you out of the brine, and you start a brand new day all the way back on the pier, ready to try again. During your exploits, you'll find several NPCs with quests that can open new routes and possibilities, and all of this happens in a non-linear fashion. Dialogues have an immediate impact on the moods of the NPCs, and failing to respond in time can also ruin their mood, which means they'll ruin your day. You might sweet-talk the cashier into giving you a ticket out of here with the right combination of gifts and favors, or you might try breaking into her ticket booth late at night while the giant lawman is otherwise occupied. It even seems possible to befriend the Militsioner by plying him with food and cigarettes so that he lets you go. Between attempts, you'll be graded on your performance and rewarded with perk points that make your escape just a little bit easier, but you'll also be thrust into a conversation with the big cop that has to be carefully navigated. Because if you hurt his feelings, you're gonna suffer the consequences, one way or another. Follow this one if you want something truly different. It's weird, kinda surreal, and the non-combat approach makes it one of the most unique takes I've ever seen on the immersive sim spectrum. If you've already subscribed to the channel, well, thanks for showing up. But if you're new around here, you might not know that I've made it a never-ending side quest to track down the best and most interesting immersive sims from small teams and solo developers. There's just one big problem. Steam discovery sucks. There's more shovelware, asset flips, and AI slop being pushed out there every single day. Sifting through this mess for something new and exciting is nearly impossible. Recommendations are broken, and tags are a joke. I mean, look at my eyes. I got a real bad case of Steve Buscemi here from spending too much time scrolling through the forum feeds and social posts to find anything good. Meet Alex and Andy, two passionate gamers that are just as frustrated about all this as I am. We got to talking a couple months back and they shared their vision of a better bundle site, one that's focused around people instead of algorithms. So we've partnered with them to help launch Digifile.co, a new way to get quality games into your hands that won't waste your time, break your wallet, or bloat your library with a whole bunch of stuff that you're never going to play. If any of that sounds interesting, you can sign up for early access with the link in the description to find out more. Better yet, hit the subscribe button and notification bell down there to get a reminder when the site launches on November 11th, and we'll show you what it's all about. Alright, let's keep going. It's tough being a free-willed automaton in a city that runs on magical machines. At least that seems to be the premise of Welcome to Brightville. Stomp through the streets of a mystical metropolis that somehow came to a tragic end as evidenced by the crazy robot guardians, the creepy songs bleeding out of the PA system, and the fact that every single human being appears to be turning into blueberry vape smoke. The game carries some heavy BioShock vibes, especially with how much it leans into the city gone wrong theme. The Steam page brags about multiple NPC storylines, all with different narrative approaches, and plenty of juicy spells to combine. So it'll be interesting to see how this all comes together in-game. As of now, Welcome to Brightville still lacks a playable demo or a solid release date. We don't have much else to go on other than a bunch of screenshots and trailers, but its magic-fueled machinery and mysterious premise definitely got their hooks in me. I'll be watching more closely for updates around its rumored 2027 release period. When a dev refers to their game as a neo-noir divorcee simulator and slaps that handy little IMSIM tag on their Steam page, you know my alarm is getting tripped. REPO Man from solo dev Achara Studios looks like it has it all. Beautiful art, quirky fae characters, a ghost moose, and jaw-shattering first-person punching. But the concept is what really sold me. You play as a worn-down dude that lost his dad, and his inheritance is a $15 million debt that's up to you to collect. Guess you better get on that grind then. It's not nearly as punk rock as the classic 80s movie that shares its name, but Repo Man looks like it'll be just as strange and surreal. The idea of a sad, shufflin uncle puttering around a city, trying to reclaim various odds and ends from cadres of sunny weirdos, absolutely fires for me on all cylinders, and I'm looking forward to the day that we'll get to wander around its brightly colored streets while we mumble away at our phone. Every once in a while, I love to get lost inside of a good, spooky game. I've got a lifetime of survival horror and FromSoft dungeons in the rear view, so nothing makes my gamer brain feel more at home than having a big creepy castle to explore. And Blackhill Keep, Heir of the Night, looks like just the thing to satisfy that sinister urge. With sword and torch at hand, you'll be unraveling the secrets of Blackhill Keep while trying to evade the dangerous creatures and traps within. And a mysterious monster stalks you through the halls. Based on what we can see from a handful of screenshots and trailer footage, it looks like there'll be plenty of furniture to push around, monsters to carve up, and a cool grappling chain to get into out-of-the-way spaces. And the Steam page teases an immersive survival horror experience that looks like just my kind of thing. I'm hoping that the playtest will open up real soon. Roadside motels are always a good anchor to a scary story, but The Warrens from Haunted Window takes the concept of one-star hospitality into a whole new dimension. Literally. The first thing that happens after you check into your room is getting ambushed by a big bunny man after a strange passage opens up where the front door used to be. You're placed in some sort of assembly line before a mysterious shadowy figure frees you, and it's up to you to escape a surrealist nightmare of interconnected dream worlds. Solve puzzles, evade Bunnyman, break a plank over their heads like you're in the WWE, it's all up to you. Strange devices and tools are hidden around the realms, and each one has multiple uses to help puzzle your way through the deadly traps and vicious enemies that stalk the halls, while you search for these mysterious sugar cubes that open up the next set of challenges. Yep, I talked about this one before, but, well, it's out now. And playing The Warrens kinda feels like David Lynch directed a video game in the 90s, but decided to never tell anybody about it. There's not even a single user review on the page for this game yet, so I feel like this is the perfect kind of game for these videos. A strange, somewhat rough, yet conceptually interesting take on the immersive sim. If lo-fi horror is your thing and you need more gameplay to chew on than your average spooky time hallway walker, well, maybe check this out. With the decline of Arcane Studios, we'll probably never have the privilege of playing through another IMSIM as good as Prey 2017. But on the bright side, we're starting to see some quality games that proudly sock puppeted around as an influence. SCP Fragmented Minds is a dark reality-bending experience that takes place on an abandoned Mars base. I mean, hey, I'm all for exploring cosmic horrors in the deep dark vacuum of space, but the blood-red sands of Mars will always do in a pinch. Anyway, the SCP facility is basically where humanity has ditched all their strange, unexplainable phenomenon over the past couple hundred years. And of course, things have gone bad. Since you're the only person on the surface of the planet that Earth is able to contact, you've won the hero lottery, and now you've got to find a way to stuff these multi-dimensional genies back into the bottle so they can't endanger anybody back home. Right away, you'll notice that the game has a polished sheen when it comes to both movement and mechanics, especially when it comes to the first-person animations. Getting around, sliding, and mantling all feel really smooth and familiar if you're a Prey fan. And you know I love a game where you can look down and see your own feet. There's also a crazy amount of detail. Check out the water spraying your suit while you take it through the car wash here, or the sweeping desert sandstorms across the planet's surface. Using the various gadgets and pieces of tech scattered around the world also just feels nice, and these little additions do a lot to draw the player into this world. Mars is a pretty dangerous place though. There's plenty of hazards to overcome on your quest to escape the facility, whether they be industrial, mechanical, or supernatural. I gotta say, the first enemies you come across look a little more silly than threatening. Some kinda chicken dinosaur with teeth? But as you progress, well, let's just say the poultry gets a whole lot bigger. The game's limited resources make survival a challenge, and you'll need to use the environment to your advantage. A handy arc welder will be your tool of choice. It's able to electrify puddles, ignite oil, and blow up those ever-present first-person shooter explodey barrels. Fire extinguishers can be used for their intended purpose or tossed like a time bomb. Had to wonder who thought that was a good manufacturing decision. But for the most part, encounters are all about sneaking around and outsmarting the enemies until near the end of Chapter 1, where you get the ability to craft and mod weapons. For me, this was the point where the game really came into its own, striking a good balance between stealth and up-close battles, and even throwing in a boss or two for good measure. You'll also bump your head into a bunch of survival horror puzzles, mostly the moving shipping crates and finding fuses kind of thing, although none of them really bend your brain that much. And you're not alone here. The occasional survivor sticks around to help you out from time to time, though they mainly act as a quest mailbox and a means of driving the plot forward. The voice acting is pretty good, and even the lip sync is serviceable, which are both definitely big surprises for any game at this price point. Developer HST Studios has decided to release the game in a chapter format leading up to its 1.0 launch, and Chapter 2 is rumored to be right around the corner. But this is a great start, and I'm looking forward to seeing what other extra-dimensional monstrosities will be poking around the rest of the game's dark hallways. So there we have it. Another 8 entries into the indie IMSIM arena. Anything in particular catch your eye? Or do you just want to argue about the definition of immersive sim some more? Or maybe just want to see if the 451 code works on YouTube? Well, there's plenty of space down in the comments. If you'd like to help support us, the best way is to step through that cozy tavern door and pull up a chair at the heroes table on our Patreon. $1 a month goes a long way, and you'll get early video access, bonus materials, and special Discord roles, amongst other benefits. Better yet, you'll get your name shouted in the comments, like the brave champions here. Wolfgang Bristol, Kalagufsel, Adam Uselman, Amelie McNamara, Jaduzable, James Blake, Yaroslav Rybaki, Jim DiFrancesco, Wulpes, Cameron Frament, John Williams, Mirek Hotovi, San Lunette, Thorben Pelser, and the rest. If you still haven't punched the secret subscribe button on your screen and turned on notifications, it would be awesome to go ahead and do that now. Getting pretty close to that 10,000 subscriber threshold. And don't forget about the special announcement for a whole new bundle site coming up on 11/11. In the meantime, if you're not sick of my voice just yet, or if it's the only thing you could ever possibly sleep to, there's many more videos just like this one on our channel. Take a look. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next Two-Headed Hero.